Okay, we're back. Hi everyone, this is audapostrophe. Hey, let's go back to the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, which I meant to go back through, you know, when it came out a long time ago. And let's go through some of these titles. We'll start off with number 1, Castlevania, 1987, NES. Transylvania, a small peaceful country in the heart of medieval Europe. The people of Transylvania whisper the legend of Dracula to their children at bedtime, only half believing it to be true. The forces of good keep a watchful eye over the land, protecting all who live there. But even during the constant vigil, the forces of evil manage to prevail once every century. Each time this happens, human beings with evil hearts begin to chant unspeakable prayers. This is Dracula, Prince of Darkness, resurrected upon the face of the earth. And each time he is manifest, his powers grow stronger. Once long ago, Dracula was indeed revived in this manner. However, his ambitions to plunge the world into darkness and build a kingdom of evil was crushed by the hero Christopher Belmont. Following Dracula's demise at the hands of Christopher Belmont, the Transylvania countryside slept peacefully for 100 years. Then, one Easter night, the townspeople were celebrating the joyous holiday with a splendid carnival. But in the ruins of the old monastery on the edge of town, the followers of darkness were holding a black mass to revive the evil count and give him eternal life. They poured a sacrifice of human blood over his remains. As they did so, an ominous thundercloud enveloped the town. Suddenly, a single bolt of lightning pierced the monastery. In that instant, Dracula, the Prince of Darkness, returned to this world to begin a new reign of terror. But all was not lost. The successor to the Belmont family bloodline, well, anyway, I'm gonna play this game. Really doesn't want you to read the story. I haven't played this game in ages. I think it's been at least 10 or 15 years since we played this. Although, I think... yeah, 69 is not going to work. 4-3 scan lines, no. That's right, this version doesn't allow you to zoom and fill the screen. Which is super weird. Oh well, what are we gonna do, huh? Now, Castlevania used to be known as an action series. You know, even barring Castlevania 2, which was, you know, an adventure game, but... you know, the idea of exploration in the Castlevania game was somewhat of a new concept. You know, because Castlevania, you know, this Castlevania was an adventure game, you know, action game only. Castlevania 2, you know, sort of delved with the idea of making an adventure game. You know, Metroid-style game. But then Castlevania 3, action game, Castlevania 4, action game, Castlevania Rondo of Blood, action game. And, you know, the big departure for Castlevania was really Symphony of the Night on the original PlayStation, where it went, you know, full on into Metroid territory. And having backtracking, and you know, in the case of Castlevania, you know, leveling up. Henceforth, the Metroidvania term came to be, sort of to show the distinction between, you know, new Castlevania games, which were, you know, more seeped into adventure and backtracking with a large map, you know, versus action games, which were, you know, considered normal Castlevania at the time. You know, now it's very much the opposite. An action-based Castlevania is, you know, going to be the kind of game that people won't be expecting. You know, people expect the adventure-based Castlevania from now on. So, you know, the term has kind of, you know, lost its meaning since Castlevania is no longer an action series. But yeah, it's kind of stuck around even after all these years of people calling games Metroidvanias, when really that old Castlevania is, this sort of playstyle Castlevania is a thing of the past. So doubtful that Castlevania will ever play like this ever again. It'll just be a straight up action game. Even when they did the reboot of the series with Legacy of Darkness, I mean, while that was more action oriented, it still had lots of elements of kind of backtracking here and there. Raising your character, earning new abilities. I think unfortunately time hasn't been kind to that game. It certainly isn't as fun as I think initially we had with it when it came out. Now I play the game now, and it's amazing that it ever got greenlit. It's such a weird game. I honestly don't remember if I've ever actually gotten all the way to the end of this game. If I did, it wasn't on the original hardware. I think I might have gotten to the end of the game on maybe like the Wii, when the Wii Virtual Console service was around. I think that might have been the last time I played it, outside of testing if the emulation was working on the on my Mister and the Steam Deck. So yeah, some of these stages might actually surprise me. I think I know these first two stages pretty well, but after that, I think I'll be at a loss. I do like this anniversary collection. I think they did a pretty good job overall, except for not being able to scale your screen, to fill up more of the border. But it's trying to be accurate to the aspect ratio. But why they couldn't do that without allowing you to zoom in more is who knows? Who knows why? Maybe it's more complicated than that. Oh my god. Ugh. Yeah, I think I've said before, but this was actually the game that I wanted an NES for. But at the time, it was just too expensive for my family to buy an NES. And, the super expensive games. I mean, if we think about adjusting for the cost of the dollar and inflation, these games were really going for, even though they were only going for $50, retail. Back then $50 was closer to $80 or $90 now. So it was very expensive to buy an NES, and the games were very expensive. We weren't earning as much money back then. But, the power of the dollar was a lot higher back then as well. So games and game systems are actually cheaper, now more than ever. Even though $500 is nothing to balk at, and $70 per game is certainly, it's certainly not easy to come by. But things were tougher at one point in time. course, this game has save states, which we will not try to use save states if we possibly can. I think we'll be okay, you know. People used to beat this game in one sitting, so I think I can somehow manage without a save state. I don't know. I'm sure I'll eat those words. I do like that they kept all the smooth scrolling, so you know things are still at 60 hertz, you know, or the 5994, which always wasn't a guarantee, you know. It's funny to think of this as like a cozy horror game. Because obviously it's not, you know, it's not a frightening game in any way. Even though it adapts all these classic monsters. You know, all these universal monsters that you know, developers and I grew up with as well. Well, I can't say I'm like super attached to all those old monster movies, you know, the Mummy and the Frankenstein and Dracula, you know, the Boris Karloff stuff. I think those are charming in their own way, but like I wouldn't spend like a lot of time watching those movies over again. What? Stupid thing. Get out of here. Couldn't get out of that loop of death. Yeah, like I said, I'm hardly a Castlevania expert. I mean, you know, I haven't played this game over and over again like I think a lot of people have. Even though I like it, I mean, I like the game quite a bit. It's just not something I'd like replay over and over again. I mean, you have to be really patient with the controls. They're real funky. You know, everything's a commitment, especially the jumping. You are committed to your jumps once you make them. Ugh. And yeah, obviously plenty of cheap deaths. Plenty of enemies that love to knock you off the screen. Ugh, some of the most annoying enemies, those fleas. Or, well, I guess they're not really fleas. I don't know why I refer to them as fleas. They don't really look like fleas. I think they're supposed to be like dwarves or something like that. So I'm almost already dead. Everything does like massive damage to you. You can see where From Software games get their inspiration. Just this old, unfair game design. Oh my god. Might be too late at night for me to start a game like this. Requires so much precision. Look at the odd movement they have. We'll say this music will stand the test of time. I think there'll always be people listening to the original NES soundtrack. That's right. Use the stairs as our brace. Son of a bitch. Ah, excuse me. Oh, boy. What are these stairs doing up here? Seriously. Not like you can climb those stairs. Ah, damn it, still got me. No, the old knockback death. A common trait amongst NES games. Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden. All those notoriously difficult games were really a lot about cheap deaths, you know. No, yeah, you can't. Can't duck under those. Damn it. Go away, knife. I got nothing. Ugh. Oh, what are you doing down there? What? Get out of here. Ugh. Oh, this cough would go away. You can duck later in the later games, but not this one. Just need a better whip. Yeah, you can't whip those things without a better whip. Son of a bitch. Damn it. Too soon. Damn it. Ah, so soon. Damn it. Still just had the regular chain whip. Why didn't that second power up appear? God, I hate this thing. It's not one thing, it's another, I swear. These old NES games. Oh no! Simon's got some good legs on him. Survive that kind of fall. Ah, that bat. Oh, jeez. That's right. Well, this is no fun. Hearts. I didn't realize how low I was. Had nothing. Nothing. Yeah. 2 hits, half your health. Ah, son of a bitch. Bad timing. Ah. Damn it. Alright, I need lives. Gotta prioritize the bat. What the heck? Oh, come on. Damn it. Worst luck. I think I'm getting too tired. We have to pick this up tomorrow. I love it when the whip power-up just, like, disappears into nothingness. This game. Right into the drink. Yeah, this is one of these games you have to play pretty aware. Yeah, you can't be too tired or anything, like I am right now. Here, let's go ahead and save here. And we'll pick this game up tomorrow. This is audap watching the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. We're playing Castlevania number 1 on our quest to play through all these games, of which there are a lot. I think the hardest one is going to be, quite frankly, Simon's Quest. I mean, that's going to take the longest. Although, you know, you can get through that game in like 20 minutes if you play your cards right. Dracula's Curse is a pretty big game. Super Castlevania 4 is really, really good. That's the one I'm like the most familiar with. But even the last 2 stages are pretty difficult. The Game Boy Castlevanias, I think we're gonna skip those unless there's some desire to see those. I mean, they really didn't stand the test of time, especially with the slow pace of them. you know, being the nature of the Game Boy Advance or the Game Boy screen back in those days. And then yeah, I think we'll definitely play a lot of Bloodlines. Since again, I'm not that familiar with the game, so I think that'll be fun to do as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.